Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Before we went on that very short break, we were talking with the CEO of M1 Studios, Mr. Emil Ngumba Molindo, and we are looking deep into the Cameroonian music industry. Mr. Emil, you're welcome once more.
Thank
I'm
you.
having
Welcome.
a good time on the show. Okay, I don't want you to get all dried up. Would you care for a glass of juice?
No problem. Why not?
I'm going to ask our producers to get our guest a glass of juice, please. Thank you very much. This is for you.
Thank you.
And this is okay, cheers to more talk on the show. Okay, before we went on the break, you were giving some very good insight as to what artists need to do. Now, moving away from artists, back to you. There's been a proliferation of sound engineers all over town. When you just started, there were very few studios, I believe.
Of course.
But now we've got, with the coming of the digital method and everything, there's a proliferation of studios everywhere. What would you say to this person out there who wants to follow a career in sound engineering?
Well, the way I started, I was not looking at being a sound engineer. I was looking at being a producer.
Okay.
Yeah, many people are confusing these things. A sound engineer is not a producer.
Okay.
A sound engineer can be a producer.
Producer.
And a producer can also be a sound engineer. Now, when they're talking about sound engineering, most of these things you're calling sound engineering around this vicinity, they are not sound engineering. They are recording artists, they are recording technicians.
Okay.
They're not sound. Sound engineers are people like these people call it that, who are you? Say you're sound. They deal with wavelength, frequency of sound, how it sounds, how the creation of it.
Okay.
You understand? But recording technicians, there are people who put their software there, put their sound and press record. You understand what I mean?
I get you.
Now, there is a difference between a producer and a sound engineer. A producer is somebody who takes so many sounds, put them in order, works on a particular software and make it sound nice. For example, create beats or beat maker. That's what I call producer. Now, in normal terminology or in normal aspect of production is that the producers take these songs, fine, they record it, give it to recording engineers, they record their sounds, fine, then send it to sound engineers for mixing and mastering. So most of the sound engineers, they are sound engineers and mastering engineers. Now nowadays, you can create beats on Fruity Loops, you're a sound engineer. You can create beats on maybe Cubase on Cakewalk, you're a sound engineer.
And that's
Yes.
the trend.
Well, what if they ask you, what's the bias of your sound card that you're using? Nobody will answer. Okay, now, why are you recording on 96 kilohertz or why not 24? What's the difference? They can't answer that kind of question. Now, the reverb you're using, what is it, the wet or a cold? Or what is the meaning of compression? What is the threshold and all those things? They can't answer that kind of question. So most of those people are doing try by error. Like, I mix sound, I mix threshold, I mix this thing, it sound like, okay, that's it, and so on. So, but I advise that when we started this sound engineering stuff, I was planning to go to school, even though I did a correspondence course of music, I call it Audio Institute of America, AIA. You understand? Still then, I wouldn't call myself a sound engineer because you need to be certified. So I'm taking people who want to be engineer, let them go. There are many correspondence courses. There are many things on YouTube. First, it gives money when you are up there.
Yeah.
And it will not give you money when you're down there. Anything about mediocrity does not give you money.
Exactly.
Yeah, so with a lot of studios around, they don't even know the acoustics of a studio. Most of the time I go there, their mix are poor because of the acoustic. They don't know what the difference between a live end and a dead end. They don't know the difference between reflection of sound and sound consumption. So all those things and so on, they need to put into consideration. Before you want to become a sound, those are the things you know. Those are the things you have to know. You understand? So we're having maybe poor sounds in one way or the other first because of the knowledge of engineering. So my advice is that they should remove that name about sound engineering. First thing.
Yeah.
You're not a sound engineer. You are a recording technician. It means you know your mixer. You know that this is auxiliary one of your mixer. This is microphone one of your mixer. Fine. Now, what do you record? That's a condenser microphone. Most of a sound engineer does not know that that's a condenser microphone. A sound engineer knows that it's a super cardioid or cardioid or a hyper cardioid microphone. So if you're singing now, he wants to be like a choir. They use a hyper. If you want to be a normal artist with a unidirectional, they use a cardioid. So most of these things you don't know. Then you say you're a sound engineer or you want to be a star. Those are the things you know. Now, for the production, I appreciate a lot of good producers now around.
Yeah.
Producers, they know how to mix their sounds, they know how to borrow sounds, they know how to sample sounds, they know how to click all those things and so on. That's good. Production has no limit. They can take anything, even on the wall. Timbaland used to take the drums from the wall, put the microphone there and hit. That's what you give, you understand. For there is no limit. But after now, there's what we call the mastering engineer. That's what most of us feel.
Yeah.
How to master that song to give you that dynamics that every other song around. Now there is a confusion now between music that are loud and music that are good quality. So most of people think that when your music is loudness, it means it's a good quality. Yeah, but at the end of the day, if they put it into some higher vision, like most of the music they don't play on Trace Urban is because of that. Many people think that it's because of the video, it's because of the audio. Yeah, because they have a machine that has an oscilloscope. When you pass it inside there, it shows some red and some green and some yellow kind of things. By the time it's too red, they can't play it on their TV because it's saturated. You understand? I believe that's why they created a TV, a Trace Africa for those kind of songs. Yeah, because if you want to go urban, there must be that level. First. They even give it there. It must be on 24 bits. It must be on 48 frequency. So loudness does not determine the quality of music. Instead, determine the quality of saturation. People should know that. So because many people now, get Nigerian songs is hitting the Americans. Those are for nightclubs. But when I'm talking about the quality of sound, it's not dependent on the loudness, on the volume. So my advice is that before you want to call yourself an engineer, please learn the rudiments of engineering. Learn the rudiments of frequency modulation. Learn the rudiments of how you deal with sound. Know microphone. Know how it works. That's how it sounds. Then know the mixer, how it works. What are we giving out? What are we taking in? Yeah. The sound card. What's the level of your sound card? What's the bias of your sound card? What's the frequency of your sound card? What's the dial? Digital audio converter. There are many other things. So that's my advice. Learn it well and you will know. Okay. So just say you are a studio technician. Or you are a producer. Don't put that word there. They should stop that word.
That it's too big.
Yes. Yeah, they don't even know the gravity of what we are saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, many people come into this profession with a lot of delusions. They feel there are things in there that they are going to meet, but when they come in, they are disappointed. What would you say to people who want to come into the profession? What should they expect?
First, I should blame the media. That's point number one. The media show people what they want to see or want to hear on an exaggerated platform. Why am I saying that? You look at all those, you watch ETV and all those things and so on. You see that artists want $1 million, this and so on. It's not exactly what happens. If you look at me very well, you will never see me on the street haphazardly. You understand? I can decide that each time I want to go on the street, I package myself very well and call for 1 or 2 cameras to show. I can even go and borrow a car, a limousine, and go out from a limousine, comes in a limousine. That's what people will see. And those young people that are entering there, they will know that, hey, this man did one song and it became a hit, and so on. Now, let me say this. If you hear that an artist, for example, they give 150 million for P Square to come to Cameroon and this and so on, that 150 million is not entirely their money. First, there is a production unit, entirely production unit, that have a percentage. Second, there is the people who are the contractors of it that have a percentage. Third, they have a percentage on it. Now, there is a band, there is an orchestra, there are many other things. So by the time it gets finished, you realize that maybe they will come up with maybe 40 million, 45 million. But people know that, hey, they gave Peace Corps 150 million. What about me that I'm coming to sing? They want to give me 400,000 fans. They're confused. Now, what people who are coming into the industry they should expect is that first, it's not everything that glitters that's gold.
That's gold.
That's point number one. Point number two, they should know that it is from their hard work that we put them up. It's not from connection. Let people stop saying I'm connected. That's why I'm up there. Connection will always put you up there if your work is good. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You must have a talent. Point number one. You must be inspired. You must be creative. With all this, then connection can bring you to limelight. Some people will go and see their uncles. Uncle, I want to come to the studio. Come and I like the studio work and so on. They are not musicians. They are not singers. They are not anything. They just have a passion that I want to come and do songs. Most of them I have them like that in the studio. They'll come 1 or 2, 3 lines and so on. But they want to make it that my uncle is connected. Yes, they'll put you on MTL platform. But that will be the last time you are entering into that platform. And if 1, 2, 3, 4 people, spectators, watch you and it's not good, that will be a negative publicity for you. Even if you are going how. So people should be careful the way they deal with this kind of thing.
So exactly what Mr. Emil Ngumba is saying, you need to have talent. You need to be creative and you need to be inspired. Those are the 3 things that you as an artist or as a person wishing or inspiring to become an artist should consider. So you have to look into those really deep. Okay, now Mr. Emil, what have been the greatest stresses in your profession?
Like I said, first, if you want to be a producer or a sound engineer or people create or an arranger, the first thing you should know is that sleep is out of you. You're not sleeping anymore. Even if you sleep, you are still creating while you're sleeping. And so you should just know that you and sleep, you're not friends anymore. Each time I go is when I'm exhausted. You understand? I'm not going to sleep. I just fall asleep. You understand? So that's the first challenge. The second challenge is that artists, musicians, or what, there is never a day that they will say that it is 100% fine. You will never find. If you're
never get that.
If you're looking for that, you will never find it. Even the songs that you are getting on the radio or the TV that are hits, they did not appreciate it. They were not comfortable, or what's the word to use? They were not 100% comfortable that this is going to work. But it is when people starting to like it, 1 or 2 certain things.
When you start getting reactions.
That's when you get, my songs might be okay. But I for one, there are many songs that are hitting the market. That are not well mixed. They are not well arranged, but they're hitting the market. So what you should expect, most of the challenge is that we always struggle in the studio. They want more. They want things that are not even relevant because they feel they want to make it. And another challenge is that everybody who comes to the studio want to hit the market
overnight.
And everybody thinks that this is it. This is what is going to be in the market. So they are coming there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Another challenge is that in all these things you are doing, they have 15% contribution. They want you to give 95%. Now this person is coming with the same with the same hip hop and wants 95%. The next person is coming with the same kind of hip hop, he wants 95%. The other person is coming with the same. So you have like 40 of the same brand of song. And they want you to create, let it sound different from the others. Let it sound better than the others. And so on and so forth. That's the challenge. Now, if you want to relate this thing to monetary value, they don't have money. But they want to make that back. So that's the most of the challenges that we have. You cannot pay this brain. Most of the time they don't pay the brain that's working. Maybe they pay the electricity bills, they pay the landlord's bills, and they pay this, but the brain they don't pay. And that's the brain that works. If you just tell an artist that no, maybe I'm tired, I want to go and rest and let's continue. It's most of the time it's a problem. It's a problem. They don't know that this thing is spiritual. When you're inspired today, you cannot be the same inspiration tomorrow.
Exactly.
You cannot be the inspiration after you must have gone out and come in. Yeah. Some of the time we're programming songs and we leave and go out and go and sit down outside. And the artist begins, why you just live like that? He doesn't know that you're going there to tap inspiration. Maybe from the sky, from nature, from everything, and come back. So the challenges that we have, people feel we are semi-machine or we are God, that we just come in and we start thinking and all these things. That's why you see somebody will move from one studio to another engineer, thinking is the engineer or the producer that determine the career. But it's just about 60%. It is what you bring. If Michael Jackson is what Michael Jackson is, it's because of him. Not even the engineers that are doing his stuff. Yes. Because he creates his songs, he arranges his song, and he goes in there and says, I want this, I want this, I want this. So you put it the way it is. That's what makes Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you just took that out of my mouth. I was going to ask you, and I'm asking right now. You deal with so many artists on a daily basis. You have this one, you have to come out with this for this. How do you keep up with that creativity? Making different sounds for so many artists.
That's why I said to be able to become somebody like me, first you must know at least 14 instruments. I mean 14, you count it, 14. Point number one. Point number two, to be able to become a producer or an arranger, he must have gone through so many different songs. Salsa, merengue, hip-hop, R&B, makossa, just that kind of thing. Now, if you look at many studios today now, they are specific. No, I'm doing only hip-hop. No, I'm doing only folklore. I'm doing only that and so on. Okay, but somebody like me, or like everybody around me, you have to be all round. So what we do is that we do a lot of listening. Maybe people who are not paying for this knowledge because of you, I'll tell them. Now they listen to you listen. If you are a good producer, if you want to become a good producer, you listen to at least 50 songs a day. It means every day, that's the amount. 50 songs per day. Now after you listen to those songs, now you look for those ones that are prominent. You tend to first of all take a pen and a paper, copy the sound that you understand. For example, he's using a polyphonic piano, he's using a Eurogate and so on. You try to see the copy. Now, within those songs, if there are how many salsas, you will know that they use conga, they use muted conga, they use for this kind of songs. So you have your bank. Now, you go again, you take maybe hip-hop, they have their kind of style. So when somebody comes with a hip-hop, automatically in your brain, you know that this is their origin, this is their culture. That's how it is. Now, when somebody comes with salsa, that's how it is. When somebody comes with makossa, that's how it is. You understand? So it takes a lot of work. And what do you deal with? You just deal with your song 100%. You go into the person's subconscious mind. Like, for example, me and you come to the studio, and you want to record, you want to do kind of thing and so on. First, I'll ask you, what were you thinking of before coming to this song? From there, you're going to tell me that I'm going to go away from that now. I begin to tap another thing, another joke. So I see your temperament. I see how you deal. That is going to give me an insight now of what to do. So each musician has his originality. Each person sings with his particular kind of voice. To know it, you have to get into his subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is something, things you do without consciousness. Yes, you understand. You just, aspiration, maybe I pinch you, say, hey, I don't like people pinching me, a kind of thing. It's going to give you, okay, now, this is the kind of person you are dealing with. This is the kind of song you're dealing with. So to be able to come up with that kind of thing that each person comes, there's a lot of listening you do. You study psychology. You deal with his head. Yeah, you have to get into his head. If not, you're not going to be able. Yeah, you're just going to do the normal imitation thing. They can hip hop. You go and take the hip hop that resembles that kind of a beat, and you just do it and so on. That's not right.
That's really deep. So, have you ever had a situation working with an artist who had passion for the art but didn't have talent?
I could say 80% of the people who come here.
80%.
80%. You understand? In the industry, if I have 10,
if I have
10 artists, 8 of them Some are coming to the studio the first time. Like for example, you play guitar, somebody will look at it, hey, I like the sound of that trumpet. Then you're coming to the studio to record. Yeah, you want to make name. So those are the kind of people we'll deal with.
Yeah.
Now, how do we deal with this kind of people? We punish them. Like I say, how do we punish them? You come to the studio, we'll tell you that in the studio you're going to make 2 weeks in the studio, but you end up making 6 months. That 6 months, most of them will feel that it's a bad idea because I want to come out. But they will not know that that punishment is what is going to make you to grow.
Okay, so those are some of the constraints you have. Now, what can you say are your biggest achievements so far, coming this far?
Well, my biggest achievement that I can say, many people will look at it like a minute achievement, but for me it's big. Like, when I say big for me, is like, you know, making those stars popular is not, for me, it's not an achievement because they're already stars.
Yeah.
But bringing people from grass to grace, those are my achievement. Now, my achievement minus all those maybe competition won by children of the studio. Yeah. For me, it is an achievement to them, not to me. So my achievement is when people can go out there and they're making them, for example, like Salatel and say, I'm coming from M1 studio. Those are my achievements. It's not about the entire thing that I want, Nescafe African Revelation, or I want Music Star, or I want to start the domain, all those things and so on. It goes to the artist. But my achievement is, the biggest achievement that I have is that if you're talking of the best engineers or the best programmers in this English zone, all came from M1 Studios. Wow, that's my joy. You know, when you have a student and you want to be a good teacher, your student needs to be out there even more than what you do. Yeah. That makes you to be a good teacher. Wow. So those are some of the achievements.
Yeah, so when you see them out there doing good for themselves and doing good for the industry, it gives you much satisfaction. Wow, that's great. That's awesome. So up to this point, is there any project that you have worked on that you can sit back at this moment and say, this project I did 120%?
Well, if I was to start naming them, there are a lot of them.
Yeah, because
okay, let me begin from the beginning. Yeah, first it was the project were to assemble 70 artists on one podium. That was during Haiti. During this Haiti, you know, some of these stars were no stars, like the Stipak Samu. They were no stars by then, but they had their songs. So that's one of the achievements, that we taking these people, bringing them to the studio, and giving them a platform from there. So from the arrangement till the sound to everything and so was done by M1, let's say me. Now another part too was this Africa Magic Teenage Rampage. So they were going all around Africa, like each year, December, they go to Ghana, they go to Nigeria, and somebody proposed them Cameroon. That, okay, fine, it's good that we do a Christmas song for Teenage Rampage, Africa Magic in Cameroon. So they didn't believe in us because maybe we were not publicizing on DSTV and so on. So this guy, Wale of Planet Image, when he came here, he knew just 2 people. He knew Bell and knew Ashale. So he came there. I need these 2 people just to do a song. Then I said, no, but you're mistaken because there are many other people, eloquent singers, eloquent people. So him alongside our keyboard, they said, okay, fine, show us what you have. So we used 3 days to assemble all the Bright Face, the Steve Lee, the Stipak, the everybody, Ashale, the Bam, Zinnia, all of them. So we did that song for 1 day. They shot the video the next day, and they edited everything. I mean, in 3 days. That was the greatest, I can say, the greatest achievement that we didn't sleep. It was there that even one of the participants, like Zinnia, got his employment into African Magic direct with no interview. The woman just sat down and saw this girl singing and said, okay, fine, can we get this girl on our podium? They said yes. The next day they could get to Zinnia. After that, Zinnia is in South Africa, and now he was on African Magic with no interview. He was there directly. So another achievement too was putting these urban artists to sing on live platform. Like what we did, that was last year. So I don't know if people last year, everybody they sang live and it was okay until that project is on the minister's table right now. That's what they are examining now to know who to bring on this AFCON thing, Female African Nation Cup. So that's the kind of thing I do, to able to bring people to the limelight, to remove them away from this studio syndica kind of thing, to bring them to the actual music, the actual live music. Yeah, so those are my projects. Those are some projects that I've done. But now I have a band that practices live, that takes the songs of all these artists around, the Mr. Leo, the Steve Lee, and so on. So they practice it. So when they have a concert kind of stuff, they do it live. Yeah, so those are the things that we do, that I do. Yeah, those are things that I promote.
That's something. So you're trying to incorporate good music.
Good music in the society.
By teaching those who are coming up after you to be able to appreciate live music, because that's, as you said, that's the core of what music is all about. Okay, wow. As an engineer, I know you value your time a lot. You talked about having to have sleepless nights and all that. So I believe you value time a lot. How do you, let me put it this way, what value do you put to your studio time?
Okay, in the past, let's say 10 years, many people have not been paying me for my time. Yeah, because there are two ways to record in the studio or to use an engineer. First, they call it session payment. Session payment is when you want to pay for your time. For example, say I want to use the studio from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now they give you that time and you pay for that time. If you don't finish, if you are not done what you're doing, you pay for another time. Now the majority of the people who come in the studio, they are not professional enough to able to take between those times and finish what you are doing. Now, so most of them come and pay for their song, and the song, the sky is the limit. You sing today, you're not okay, we'll give you another program tomorrow. We're not okay, we'll give you another program tomorrow. You're not okay, we give you another program. And those are the people who are bugging us with time. You understand? They want to finish in 3 days, but actually they need to sing in 6 months. Yeah, to able to perfect what they're singing. So most of the time, most of my time that I put is when people are not there. For example, you come and sing anything, I take anything you sing. Like I used to have a slogan there: garbage in, platinum out. So I take your garbage, you come and do anything. And so you know this. So while you're sleeping, we are not sleeping. So we sit down now and begin to find out, increase your pitch, reduce the pitch, know the kind of pitch that you're singing. If you know that, we sing with the mouse for you. Then when you come back, we'll give you maybe a test of what we have done. So it takes a lot of time when you're single. I mean, when not single, when you are alone. When you are with artists, most of them want you to take that amount of time that you take alone with them, which is not giving any fruit. For example, you allow some people to sing 50 times, on which in those 50 takes that he is singing, you cannot take even barely 4. So you sing even 4. Then I take one I'm alone. It will take me less than 1 hour to able to put your voice together. So most of the time that I put in the studio is without these people. So in the studio I come, you record, you play everything, and so you can go. Then I remain behind now. And you do the actual work. So our night becomes our day, and our day becomes our night. So that's the time I put. If there are 24 hours a day, I put 4 hours to sleep. I put 16 hours. That's very little. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, some of the time we work, we need an additional 26 hours on 24 to able to work and come out with something good. You know, we are trying to strike a balance. First, what I was doing when I started the studio is to stop this going to Douala to record, going to Douala to have mastered people. And I believe it has been done somehow. Like about 75%. People don't go there anyway. They don't go there. They record here. What I want to stop again is to put the same frequency of Cameroon artists to be on the same platform, podium, vision, ideas with every other Ghana, South Africa, USA, and so on. That's what we're trying to do. And now, but people are not helping because they put any trash on social media, put anything and so on. It's not helping. because you just do, there has to be a board, a committee that they take this kind of songs and visualize it. All these great artists, big stars, they have it. Beyonce, they have it. They don't release anything. They just put anything, get up in the night, do a song and so on, just put the next day on social media and people begin to crush you. Yeah, so.
Okay, now there is a conception. I don't know if it's wrong or right. You're going to help us with that. There is a conception that engineers are rich. Now, do you make much money out of this profession?
Now, it's very relative. Now, when you say engineers, good, that name, that word as it is, engineers, they are not rich, but they pay them a lot.
Okay.
What do you mean they pay them a lot? For example, let me go into the real sense of engineering. Now, when you come and give me your song, okay, this is my song. I want to be on the limelight. Now, I will tell you, fine, this is your song. It needs, let's say, 3 backups. It needs 3 live guitars. You need a live drum, or you need to be arranged like this. We need to fasten it like this. Those ideas. Now, an engineer gives those kind of ideas and is paid for.
Okay.
For example, and not only you paying the engineer, the music committee around. It's just that Cameroon, they don't respect that. If it's SASEM, if it's SOCAM and so on, they need to pay you for that idea.
Because it's like
because when you're doing your writings, you put arrangement, engineering, and so on, you put the name.
Yes.
That royalty goes to the engineer. Sometimes, if it's in a developed world, even your money that you are giving to me will be very much lesser than the ones that the government or this music body is going to give to you. If I have like 4, 5, 6 different artists with my name on it, like arrangement, mixing, mastering, and so on, that's a lot of money. It means every month I'll come out with a carton full of money. But in Cameroon, it's not the same. Now, let me give an example. In Southwest, it's not actually the same. People are doing songs for 15,000 francs. You take 1 month to do song for 15,000 francs. What is it going to give you? Artists are coming here and they want to pay 20,000 francs and they want to boom. They want to sound like somebody will bring a song and say, I want you to sound like R. Kelly. He has 15,000 francs. He has no voice to sing. You need to do the arrangement. You need to do voicing. It means he has to sing. Sometimes you go in the box and leave a template. That go and follow that kind of template. So you see now, so the whole thing become cumbersome. Like I was telling one person, you cannot have low cut. You want me to shave you pong. When am I going to take that hair and come and put there and make you pong? You understand what it is? So engineers here in our vicinity, there's one suffering. They don't have money. To be very frank, that's why you see they're working all about and now we are mistaken because many people feel that there is much money in this thing. That's why they're getting into. But if you want to get into it, make sure you're an engineer. We're having a lot of software manager. You go and cram a software and you call yourself you will not make money. Because all the jobs that people do, they still want to go to another studio to master it or to remix it or to do. Sometimes they just come and give you 5 times and do me beats and just want to have your ideas and go. Because most of the time, 90% of the music, of the songs I have there, the songs that have been done by other studios. They call me to redo it or to remix or to add 1 or 2 things and so on. So but we have the software managers, but engineers, they are very rich people. Because you pay their head, you pay insurance, you pay many things. If you want to go into the aspect ratio. Yeah, that's why you see they don't play with engineers. There are 2 people they don't play with. Your engineer and your physician or your doctors. Yeah, because those are the people who determine your life, your success and your health. Yeah.
Okay, so being on the job for this long number of years, are there things that you have learned on the job that you didn't know before?
A lot of things. First, I've learned patience. If you don't have patience, you can never do this job. Second, I've learned tolerance. You know, artists, the temperament of artists, you can start quarreling from beginning of the programming till the end of the mixing. Because most of them, they believe that when I give you 10,000 francs, it means you are my slave. They have to speak anyhow on you. They have to do you have to do exactly what they want. at what time they want. If they can take an excuse, for example, I will not be in the studio tomorrow, you have to accept. But you just take an excuse that maybe the program we have today is cancelled because I have another program tomorrow. It's So most of the time, I study people, your temperament. That's why when you come like that, you give your money, I put it somewhere. We don't use it. We study, work with you for one session, the second session. There are many people that will say, come, please. Now, the kind of idea you want, we cannot do it. Take your money and go and look for another place to do it. So this is the kind of thing I've learned. Tolerance. You have to be able to tolerate. You do it fine in the music world. If you cannot tolerate, you cannot.
You can't cope.
Yeah, and you need to there's a lot of temptation. A whole lot of temptation in this musical field. Now, when you don't know anything, you're still struggling. Nobody comes to you. Nobody have your time. People here, they only, maybe you have, if you have 10 people, 9 will criticize. 1 will just, because either you're the friend or the other, you just play around. But now, when you begin to make maybe 1, 2 names and things begin to happen, that's when some people, they call them the barons. Those are the people spoiling the entire music world, industry, studio world. Now, they believe in talent. And they use this talent because they have money. Now, so they will come and begin to divert your talent to be able to suit their interest because they have that maybe money one way or the other. And so, and they give a lot of bad advices out there. That's why you see maybe some of our stars now, he can be your friend. You understand? I'll come and pull you, I'm a producer or I'm a event manager. I'll tell you that, okay, fine. You're not supposed to work here. You're not supposed to greet people. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. Automatically, the artists, they change. Why? Because this man has put maybe 1 million or 2 million there. So their aspiration change. Now, if they, at the end of the day now, they cannot maintain their artistic values like their creativity and so on. They spit you out. They take another person that feels that he's still coming. You understand? So most of the time, these barons, I don't want to call names now, but I call them barons. They're the ones spoiling the industry.
So for you, what has been your driving force?
Well, first is God in heaven. Yeah, because there are many times that you want to give up, you want to stop what you're doing and say that, no, this thing does not give me money. For example, in our society now, in this, let's say in our region now, most of the time, you work for 1 million, they pay you 100,000. So there's still a deficit of 900,000 fans. And that those people are giving you 100,000 fans. They want to squeeze all the juice that's coming out from your body. You understand? Sometimes you want to give up and say that, okay, fine, this is it, man. Let me just forget and look for another job. Yeah, but with God and with the future, he said, if you give up, it means it's over. If you don't give up, it means it's not yet over. Yeah, so with God, and that's where the inspiration comes from. So there are many people who don't know how to read even the Bible. They think the Bible is for fanatics and Christians who are so. No, the Bible answers all questions in life, in church or out of church. You understand? So it's not. So when you read the Bible, like certain things, God is not mocked. As God created you. There are many things that you do. You say that no, if it's not God, even if you don't pray, so those things are backed by the Bible. So inspiration is backed by the Bible. That's where it comes from. And most of the words that people use is everything is there. So those are my driving force. First, God first. God's giving me the strength. Human being, no, they cannot. Say, don't trust nobody. Don't believe in human being. God, if you believe, they will fail you. You understand? And if I believe in the creativity of human, it's going to fail. Take for example, they're bringing like 6 albums. All of them are Makossa album. No, Makossa, they have their same brand, the same thing, and they want you to mix, program, and arrange differently. Let this artist come out shining. The other artist come out shining. The other artist will come out shining. And so, how are you going to do? You need only God to give you that kind of inspiration. If not, you give up. Yeah, because this one will tell you, no, I want brass, but don't put the brass that you put in there. I don't want to hear that kind of brass. How are you going to think about it? What idea? What are you going to do? Because by that time that they give you that song, you must have gone the whole world thinking that now, how will I do this intro? How am I going to put the break? How am I going to do it differently from all those things and so on? So it's just God. You have to pray. That's God. Yeah, it's not about, I see some people proud that I'm an engineer and they're proud that my creativity, this is, and so those people don't end.
Yeah.
Because after 1, 2, 3, 4 albums, you begin to repeat the same old
Yes,
things. That's why some people, when they do things, they know that it's coming from this person, it's coming from this person, it's coming from this person. Yeah, so.
Wow. So have you ever thought of maybe starting up a label and signing in artists?
That. Now, I don't know of any label in this our zone. Trust me. Now, you see somebody just get a label does not mean studio. Maybe people are confused. Label, a record label doesn't mean a recording studio or a producer. Those are two different things. A record label is a label that takes artists, singers, musicians, and put them into the limelight to be commercial for people to see and know. It means that label can decide that I'm working with these studios, with Universal Records, or with M1 Studios, or with No Hits, No Records, or with all different studios. That's a label. Now, you see somebody just get up and produce a song with one of a studio engineer and produce a song with one of his artists and so on. The next thing you see, these records present this and label. When he himself does not even have 100 to pay taxes from Malingo to University Junction. That's not a label. A label is a whole organization, point number one. It means you have a production unit, you have songwriters, you have arrangers, you have partners with other like TV stations, like radio stations, like things like that. You have companies that is, yes. That's why you see when they say Universal Records, it's a whole entire body. Yeah. You understand? It's not one person. Yeah, they can use the name of one person, but it is a whole entire body that's under my label. It's a whole network. So I, for one, very soon I'm going to put a label. Wow. But it will be under a foundation like what we're going to do. We're going to do a Charles Foundation. Okay. It will be under a foundation. Okay. And now how do we do? We'll make sure we get into partnership with some kind of companies. Okay. That's point number one. Yeah. After companies, we're getting into partnership with some kind of TV, radio, and media, social point, and so on website. So it means that when you come out with an artist, in the space of 1 week, the whole world is going to get that artist. Yeah. That's what we're talking about being a label. It's not about you being a label. You go and ask for. You are seeking for producer. You are seeking for this one. You are seeking for this one. Yeah. That's I'm surprised with these people in town. Yeah, I'm surprised actually. Yeah, because if we are talking of label here, we have close to 50 to 100 different labels just in one town. It means that the whole industry has to be booming. Yeah. If we're talking in the sense of label, it means that Boya need to be the richest town in Cameroon. Yeah. It needs to be like Hollywood. With all these labels that we have here. But at the end of the day, the people suffering the more is the people who have labels.
So with respect to this label issue, because it's really a problem, if you look at it keenly, it's really a problem in our musical scene. Now, the problem is artists fall victims to this label connotation that's going on all over. What would you say to an artist out there who is approached by one of so-called labels and who wants to sign him or her? What would you say to that artist? What should the artist be looking at from that label?
Are you sure you want to hear what I would say?
I do. Okay. That's why I asked.
Okay. First thing, the advice for the artist is that how do you know you're an artist? That's the first question. Now, where are you coming from? Now, how did these people come in contact with you like an artist? Now, I'll start with the artist first. You must know your vision, where you want to go, and where is your point for, where is your comfort zone. That's point number one. Yeah. Now, for example, I'm a Makossa artist. I sing Makossa songs. Then a hip-hop producer will come to me and say, okay, fine. I want you to do hip-hop now because that's what sells and I want to promote you and so on. I'm fine. That's a big problem. That's the first problem. Because he's going to take you out of your comfort zone and you're not going to make anything out of it. People will end up falling out. Now, how do you know a label or a producer? My advice is that a producer in the studio is not a label. If somebody sees you, say that I want you to be under my label because he have a studio, a recording studio, it's a question mark. Yeah. That's first thing. Yeah. Producing a song in the studio does not mean it's a label. Yeah. It's just that I help you to arrange and produce your song. A label, they have to ask 3 questions. First, what's your capital? How much are you going to put in this project? First thing. Second, how many years am I into your label?
Yeah.
Good. Third question, what is the percentage benefit? That's the third question. It means percentage benefit is like 60 for producer, for the recording house, 30 for the musician.
Yeah.
Now, the first question is going to answer if that person is a label, is a record label or not. How much are you putting into my work? Now, in big record labels, they'll tell you that, okay, fine, this is your project, we're going to put 5 million there. 5 million is going to be this, it's going to be that, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And in that 5 million, you're going to have a house that you sit there, and we're going to pay the house for 3 years, or we're going to feed you and so on. We need 3 albums in that 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a label.
That's a label.
You understand? So that's how you know that this person is really somebody.
Yeah.
It's not somebody said, no, we are going to seek, just bring the song, we are going to seek for people who are going to sponsor the song and so on. Just go away. Because if that person is sick and they give him 1 million, he's not going to give you that 1 million.
Yeah.
He's going to give you, may say, I went there and they gave us 100,000 francs. He's looking for your talent. He's looking for your talent to make himself rich or known.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 questions artists should ask. How much are you putting in this song?
Yeah.
Or in this album? Point number 1. Point number 2. What did I say again? You're not paying attention.
I'm paying.
Yeah.
Wow, how much are you going to put into the
into the whole into the project. What's your capital?
Yeah.
What are your connections like? The promotion skills, the radio skills, the TV, and all those things. What is it? Then third, what's my percentage, so to say? Is it what do I want to say? Is it stage wise, or is it CD wise, or is it cassette wise, or is it on the media wise, or is it all those things you are going to put into place? You realize that many will not answer that kind of question. Most of the time, artists don't speak because they don't have money even to record in the studio. So when somebody see their song and say, okay, fine, I just want to record, I'll record you and we'll see from there what they can do. They just jump in because they want to get their voice known. Yeah. So me, I'm not a label today because I don't start label in the studio. I start seeing you from without the studio, your artistic approach, your artistic work. That's why I have a band. So when you come there, I'll send you to the band for almost 6 months. So you start being used to, you know your pitch, you know your tempo, you know your songs, everything. You build the artist first before you retire to the studio. Then we'll start putting you out.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're getting all those very important facts. Artists, this is for you. If a label, so-called label, comes that they want to sign you, these are the things that you have to take into consideration. First, how much is the label putting into your project? 2, what is the label's capital? Very important. 3, what will be the percentage that you and the label will come into an agreement about? And 3, you have to know the label's connections. A label cannot come and they are there they are there to promote you. And if they are not connected, how is that going to happen? Is that right?
That's correct.
Exactly. Okay, now moving on. Who in the profession would you say you admire most in Cameroon?
Chiambah.
Wow.
Yeah, in all aspects, the man is really professional.
Okay.
In studio, in recording, in singing, in practice, he is a professional. Why do I say so? An artist is not the amount of stage you do, it's the amount of practice you do. Because it's this practice that makes you who you are. A professional is how much time he or she puts in practice, in his work. And if you look at somebody like Richard Bona, he puts in every day like 6 hours. Most of our artists today, they don't even train. They don't even learn what they are. They take sentence and it's in the studio that most of them write your songs. If you're an artist, it means you get up 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's say you pray or you do your things and so on. There must be at least 1, 2, 3, or 4 hours. Okay, now, If I'm writing song, I need new inspiration.
Yeah.
If you are jogging, I'm singing, you need to open your voice. I mean, there must be that aspect ratio that you are an artist and this is your métier, this is your job. So you get up, they're on WhatsApp the whole day, but they're coming to the studio at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then when they come to the studio, they sit down and begin to know that thing like that. We need to start writing. Play the beat again, put it on repeat and look. That's where they start writing. That inspiration is not profound, it's not deep. And that's how people listen to it shallow, like, as it is. So it's how much you put in your song, how much you put in your artistic work. That's why I respect him.
Yeah.
Because he's somebody who works. And even the white, they respect him.
Yeah. Okay, now moving away from that, what is the advantage of going to a professional studio over working in a home studio? Because now you see many people have little home studios that they just pop into. What is the advantage of getting into a professional studio over that?
Well, in this sense, I also say it's relative.
Okay.
Now, home studio is more cheaper,
Okay.
it's less expensive, and you can take your whole time to do what you can do.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, professional studio is more expensive, and they don't give you all that time to do.
Yeah.
So it is advisable for each artist, all of them, have a home studio.
Okay.
Now, in this home studio, that's where you build your concept, your songs, because you can get up in the morning, have an idea, you have an inspiration, you just go there, you put it down, and you begin to arrange what you can arrange there and so on. But now, you cannot take that thing and you want to put out there because it sounds nice to your ears. There are many things, many quality check that will not suit. So it's after that, with the inspiration that you have, with the what we call the market or a demo that you have, take it now to a professional studio. Now it's going to be two minds now. All what you have done with a professional mind now. So you will make two. So most of the people, when it sounds nice to your ears, means that it's going to sound nice to everybody's ears. And it doesn't die.
Yeah.
So a home studio is okay. For me, each and every artist should have a home studio. Yes. It's just like you cannot shave your hair alone. You need a barber to shave your hair, even though you have a machine in the house. Yeah. So you can use that machine maybe to shave your chin and so on and prepare yourself. So home studios, they are good. Yeah, but to put a less cost, use your home studio to build all your concept. Then take it now to a professional studio. They begin to add now, they call it development, put it down, change the frequency of what you are doing, make it sound very professional with the idea that you have and add their own ideas. It's better. Artists who work like that, they're professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. Okay, just this question that intrigues me. You've been working in the studio for years and years and years, and you have to listen to such loud music almost all the time. Or don't you? Do you?
Of course.
How doesn't that affect your ears over time?
Well, if you asked me that I've been working in a nightclub, I would say it will affect my ears.
Yeah.
But studio, you see these speakers that you call monitors.
Yeah.
They have what we call a flat frequency response.
Okay.
It's different from the normal speakers people hear. It's called a hi-fi speaker.
Okay.
Hi-fi speakers are enhanced sound that they enhanced. The tweeter, the bass from the mid-range, those are the things that affect. But the studio monitors is on a flat frequency response.
Okay.
Except you put it to a particular threshold or you put your ears so close. It does not affect your drum or your eardrum or your vocal register. It does not affect it.
Okay.
Yeah, so sound in the studio, the volume
because
is not a problem.
I was really getting
worried
because that sound. If it has to be that loud in your ear, I think you have
it's not the same thing. It's louder when you put an earphone than when you put the loudest sound on the in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah, because the monitors are different. Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, on a lighter note, Mr. Emil Ngumba, you are a hardworking, successful, thriving sound engineer. Are you married? And he laughs.
Well, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I don't have somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. So
Wow.
not yet, but very soon.
Very soon.
Yes.
Wow, that's nice.
And I believe CMTV will cover it live.
Of course we will. That's interesting. Wow,
Yes.
that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Okay.
Okay. We are not done yet. We are right away. We are going to get into some tips that we are going to be giving artists. But before we get to that, I'm going to ask you this. What if you had a last word to tell first artists, then sound engineers? What would that be?
Well, artists, my last word is know who you are first. Know your point, what do you call it? Know your heart, I mean your point four, they call it point four, your point,
Strong point.
your strong point, good. Now, if you're an artist, there are three things that will determine your artistic, inspirational content. First, your creativity, your inspiration, and your hard work. First, that's what you should do. You must be creative. You must be inspired, and you must work hard. Leave imitation very far. Do not imitate, but rather learn like a challenge from those that are successful. Singing in the studio does not make you an artist. Having a good album or a good song out there does not also make you an artist. An artist is a long process. It's a process that starts and have no end. So a song cannot determine an artist. So if you're an artist, you must be inspired, you must be creative, and you must learn hard work. Yeah.
Okay. And for sound engineers?
Sound engineer, you just have to go to school and go to, yes, first thing, you go to school. If you cannot go to school, because most of this school out there is very expensive, like Musician Institute, you have to pay $16,000 for 6 months, or SAE, you have to pay close to $40,000. If you cannot go to school, go to correspondent courses. That is less cheaper. Do not just stand there because you can use a software or because you can play on maybe an instrument and you call yourself an engineer. It's not going to help you and it's not going to help the people around. Because if they come now and say they are looking for engineers and begin to ask some kind of questions, it's just like one musician came from VOA and had to deal with a band here in Boya. Yeah. So he was looking for a jazz band. So people had a group and said, okay, this is the jazz band. They took her to a cabaret and she said that she play. They were playing songs like Petit. I said, no, I want a jazz band. So we found ourselves lacking and ashamed. Yeah. So before you could able to call yourself an engineer, go to school, that's all.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. It was some really, really good information you put out there, and we couldn't be happier to have had you on this show.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We're done with the questions, but you're not going anywhere for now. You still stay with me. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Emile Ngumba Molindo talking to us in depth about the Cameroon music industry, music in general. Now we'll be taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll be giving you tips on how to make a living with your career. We'll be giving you tips on how to make a living as an artist with your career. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Straight away, we are into the next segment of Chill and Crack, and that is, we'll be giving you tips on how to make a living with your career as an artist. Let's get that. How to make a living with your career as an artist. Find ways to get ordinary people who love music to love your music. Prove to the industry that ordinary music fans in your city love your music. Charity, they say, begins at home. Play live often and don't worry at first about getting paid for every performance. Protect your investment. Register your songs for proper copyright protection. If you really believe in your unique and original music, then take the time to learn the basics of copyright protection. Design and write your promotional materials so that they stand out. Biographies, websites, blogs, pages. Know the labels and music publishers you hope to be signed to. To rush ahead into a label without taking time to learn a few things about them would be foolishness. Have your own entertainment law attorney to represent you when it comes to dealings with a record label, a publisher, or a merchandiser. Choosing a reputable, ethical, well-respected attorney with lots of deal-making experience within the music industry is an absolute necessity for any serious artist. Choose a well-connected and respected personal manager. Don't take advice from anyone unless you are certain they know what they are talking about. Educate yourself. If you want a record deal, learn about what a record deal is and learn something about the business of music. Knowledge, they say, is power. You're welcome back there from having those wonderful, very, very serious tips that you need to take seriously on how to make a living as a musician or an artist. Mr. Emil, what would you have to add or subtract from those tips?
Well, those tips were well taken care of.
Okay.
And actually is what this our Cameroonian industry we need.
Yeah.
Yes, the only thing I want to add is they're talking about musicians and artists. You should know you're a musician and you're an artist.
Yeah.
You understand? And the only thing I will advise that that will add there is that at least if you're a singer or a musician, you should know at least one instrument.
Okay.
A guitar, a keyboard, a drum.
Yeah.
You should know because that's what gives you an inspiration to sing.
Yeah.
Most of the people now don't know all these things. How do they compose? They take 1 2 face here, 1 piece squared there, 1 this where there. They put all together and put patches and blend it and put it on. So it doesn't work like that. So, but at least if you know one, let's say keyboard, the inspiration, the keyboard, it teaches you first pitch, modulation, transpose, all this theory of music first. Then now it can give you can be playing something and it just come, maybe a guitar or something. You should know at least an instrument.
An instrument.
Yes.
Very important. Okay. Wow. Okay, we know you are fondly called Oga. Oga Emil. How did Oga come about? Please, just something little on that name Oga. Very interesting.
You know, Oga, there are some of my friends that we are almost the same age. Yeah, but they work under me. Now, they don't want to call me by my name. And they want to give me some respect too.
And they don't want to call you boss.
Yes, they want to call me boss. So you just say Oga.
Oga.
So, and when the next person will come and hear that name, they begin to call the name. So actually, I know it's Nigerian to be calling people like that. Cameroon, we don't have that culture, but I can say no. You understand?
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we say quits for today. We've had an awesome time. We brought you all the entertainment that we know you needed. It was an awesome time here on Chill and Crack, and from everything we gathered from Mr. Emil Molindo, this is what you artists have to take out. First, you need to be creative. Know who you are. Be creative, be inspired, and work hard. And to you sound engineers, get some education on that field. That is what you need. Mr. Emil, we never leave our guests go empty-handed. We have it as a tradition here that if you come, you go out with something. So I'll ask my producers to hand me. Here we have a little, it's little, but it's coming from the heart. We have a little package for you from the Chill and Crack team. That is for you.
This is what I used to see on foreign TV.
It's happening here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're so
God
welcome.
Bless.
You're so welcome. We hope that sometime again we'll have you sitting right here to tell us, if not on the same topic, on something else.
Of course.
You'll always
All
be
right,
available.
you're welcome. I'll be available.
Thank
Sure.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
it's
much
okay.
for making it.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we say goodbye from Chill and Crack. This is the place where we go up and down simultaneously. We chill down and we crack up. It's a whole lot of fun right here on this platform. And yes, we also get educated. People, this is where we say goodbye. Till next time, keep watching and keep the rendezvous. Bye-bye.